Hello, hello. Debriefing Valentine's Day. What he did or didn't give to you or show you, making sense of it. That's what our live is all about tonight. I'll be taking your questions, giving answers, and getting to the heart of things for you. So, before we start, thank you for being here, sharing, commenting, subscribing, hitting that red alert bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming lives. But who am I to talk about this and to even be here? If you don't know me, I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach for women, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I coach you to find a Mr. Right, get an ex back, or grow an existing situationship or relationship so you create the relationship of your dreams and level up to the complete commitment you totally deserve. We can talk about the 3 ways that I do that to help you. Welcome. But some people are on, and we want to get right to debriefing your Valentine's Day. What your man did or didn't do or give to you, making sense of it, because it's as unique as your relationship. And there is one thing above all that's statistically the cause of breakups around Valentine's Day. We did lives on it, so go and look at those if you would like. But that one thing is typically summed up in a word: expectations. And men and women have very, very different expectations for the big V Day. So I'm going to get right through it. Jamara, Valentine's Day. Yay, I made it through. Yay. Good. And Virginia here, not currently dating one, but here for the info. Okay. So here we go with question number 1. All right. The guy I've been dating, 5 dates in, only texted me. Let's see what we've got here. The guy I've been dating, 5 dates in, only texted me at 6 p.m. on Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day. And that was it. What does this mean? Okay. We want to debrief on this. This is a really good one to start with, so I'm happy to start with this one. I have questions to ask you first because there are 5 dates and then there are 5 dates. So it really is going to depend where you are. And if you can answer me quickly, it's going to help us debrief with this. So tell me, the 5 dates that you have had, does that include a first meeting? Did you meet online? Number 1. And does that include a first meeting? And during those 5 times you met up or did, what was, how far did it go? Because you could have had sex already, you could have talked about a lot of things already. Where are things? Let's see what you answer. Lizzie Roblox. Yes, tell us. Because you see, that's how we have to look at the uniqueness of things, because men typically, yes, we met online. That doesn't include the first meeting. 5 dinner dates. We had sex on date 4. Okay. So, excuse me. So Lizzie's saying, met online, the 5 dates includes a first meeting, and then, it doesn't include a first meeting. Then you had 5 dinner dates, and you had sex on date 4. So, Lizzie, something is keeping him from wanting to move this forward, and he did the bare minimum to be respectful of you and maybe want to continue something, and that might include sex. So he's texted 6 p.m. and that was it. Okay. So this is where, if you want this to go the distance, you're going to have to do some work with this, because there's something here. 5 dinner dates. That's quite a bit to show you interest, but I'm wondering if, and I don't know because there's so much here, whether that is okay. I will continue to have these dinner dates with her in hope to get sex and see if that's the case. And then if I like that, I'll continue on at a very slow pace. So here's some additional questions for you. What has the texting been like? And what discussions have there been? Because you see, there can be 5 dates of real connection, or 5 dinner dates where it's simply a quid pro quo for the man. He gives X to eventually get X with an S, sex, from you. So I don't know. What I'm hearing that was good about it is that there was some delay in the sex, but I'm wondering if there was something you were displaying to him. And again, this is going to take real discussion. Let's see. Texting hasn't been great, maybe every other day and minimal. The dates were great, but communication in between isn't what I like. So were you texting him? That's a big question. Waiting for that answer. Because that can also precipitate, or I should say, tell us where things are. No, he texts me mostly. So the lack of communication, I'm wondering if your general stance was simply allowing him to make these dates, and then you go on them and you say it's minimal. I only respond to text. Okay. I understand, and I understand not reaching out. But when you say, I only respond to text, I'm going to ask you a question here that's valid for me to know. Would you consider yourself a rules girl? Let me know that. There's probably some delay on this. But the reason I ask that is that it's showing a man, and this is the balancing act we must do. Yes, I try 80-20. Yeah, there's something I'm likely not going to be able to answer for you here. I try to follow your rules. Okay, well, my rules are not, they're 80-20, yes. So that's good. But there's something here whereby the sense I get is that there was no getting closer to him. There was no moving this towards anything. It's just date, continued texting the same way 1 week, another date, continued texting the same way, another date, continue texting the same way, and yet another date. And on that one, you had sex. There's a connection missing here, something missing for him. And this would be a very good, if you can, and if you would come on the podcast so we can talk, or connect with my assistant so we can talk together, because I'm not hearing that it's an absolute no-go, but so far there's nothing indicating that he's seriously interested. So I'd have to get a lot more from you to really help you go deeper. As you probably heard on the podcast, there's information that I need that's kind of missing. Here's a question for you, though, before we move on, that I maybe can help with. What did you do with that text at 6 p.m. on Valentine's Day? Did you answer it? Did you heart it? What did you do with it? So we'll answer. And then I will answer Jamara's here. So did you answer it? Heart it? What did you do with it? I said, thank you, ditto. Yeah. And then have you heard from him since? I'm just getting a sense that he's doing the minimal necessary so that he can possibly continue and you will have sex with him. I heard it too. No, nothing heard. So that was Friday. So you haven't heard yesterday. And these dates, were they on the weekend, Saturday nights, these dinner dates? Or did they start out during the week and then move to the weekend? And the night you had sex on the fourth date, did you stay over? What did he do the next day? See, there's so much here that I really can't answer for you because, yeah, Saturday nights, okay. Did you stay over? Did you go to his place? Yeah. Did you see him another time after that? So I'm hearing, so here's what Lizzie's telling us. Yes, his place. She did not stay over. He did not text me the next day, but Saturday night dates. Okay, so one of the things whereby we can hurt ourselves is showing, okay, I will have sex with you. The leaving shows, and it's so subtle, and it can be really insidious. No, you haven't seen him since. Okay. So he was being respectful. He is very unsure what he wants to do with this. He likes you. He wanted to do the absolute minimal necessary, but your answer of, okay, you hearted it, that's good. When you said thank you, ditto, it's a little quid pro quo, if that makes sense to you. I'm getting the sense that there's some kind of barrier between you. He doesn't know where you stand as much as you don't know where he stands, if that makes sense. And if you want this to go further, you will need to do a deeper dive on it than I can give you here for sure. I'm not hearing that you absolutely cannot. But what I am hearing is that he's maybe not putting you in the right category. You did not hear from him the next day. I'm wondering if you didn't hear from him any of the following days after your dinner dates. But I think that you'll need to do a lot more work on how you are presenting, perhaps. And again, not knowing you and not knowing any of the background, I'm sorry I can't give you more, but this stuff is so contextual. No, he usually didn't text me the day after a date, so maybe a pattern. Absolutely. And if you just accepted those dates, you thought it was moving towards something, and he was showing you that I'm going to do the minimal. He wanted to get you. He did. It doesn't mean that there's no chance here. It's just you're going to have to take a totally different tact, but it has to be artfully done. So you don't specifically tell him anything, depending. Again, I wish I could give you more on this. This necessitates our doing a much deeper dive than we can do here. But yes, it did fall into a pattern whereby after, say, the second date, you were seeing that there was no connection building. And I'm wondering if to him, it's just a quid pro quo. So that could be the case here if he's maybe well off, fancies himself a catch. There's a lot here I don't know about your ages, all manner of stuff that are details you've probably heard us go into on the podcast, and I would need that to give you a lot more. So I hope you'll consider doing that, because then we can, really go into it. If you haven't heard the podcast, go to the playlist here, and I hope you'll consider doing that. All guests are anonymous. We really go into it much deeper, and I can give you a lot more. Jamara says, my ex for the first time did not reach out at all on Valentine's. I'm kind of glad and I'm kind of sad at the same time. Yes. This is good for you, Jamara, because perhaps this could be actually the start, but he wanted to make sure that he did not do something around a love day. That might be hurtful, but I think you know what I mean by that. Lizzie, thank you. I'll look into that. I hope so. You can go onto any of the podcast lists and see the comments there. Just reach out to my assistant, Michelle, at coachpaulagrooms.com. She can give you all the information on being a guest. It's free to you. It's anonymous. We do a very deep dive on that situation and how you can grow this, because there's still that small bit of interest, but I am going to guess he's not wondering to the degree that he needs to. And he's showing you who he is in terms of wanting more at the moment, but we've got to keep you in the state of knowing that you can have more if this is something you want, doing the right things to help get you what you want by the mechanics of men, having the right mindset, manifesting. Great. Jameer, really, I feel the same way for you. I'm in some ways, disheartened for you, but in another way, really glad, because it is a sign for you to truly move on. Now, you're talking about the other man with whom you've been on the hikes. If you've tried the not reaching out to him, let me ask you then, and he didn't reach out to you on Valentine's Day. It would be good to try a different tact, because you have nothing to lose. Does that make sense, Jamera? You have nothing to lose. You've tried this tact, not reaching out. You've given him a chance. He has not, but he keeps showing you interest. Like the story I told last live, that he may see you as the prize and be very reticent. So perhaps he needs that little boost from you. And what I'm hearing is you have nothing to lose by attempting it. Does that make sense, Jamera? Okay. Oh, great. Great. Yep. I would absolutely go for it. You have absolutely nothing to lose. That's my feeling. Opal, I haven't heard from Ike, nor have I sent anything. At the moment, I feel like waiting for his next move and then offering a better communication. Okay, so my question to you is, did you send something prior, like we discussed? I feel like it's the battle of the wild. I don't know exactly what that means. But we discussed how important it would be, or maybe it's just my personal battle. Remember, we discussed how important it would be for you to send something so that he felt something different than last time. Did you send that prior, like 2 days before, 3 days before Valentine's Day, as we discussed? Battle of the wills. Well, you're making it such, and it doesn't have to be. Like you said, maybe it's just my personal battle. It's your programming that's telling you you're not wanted, you're not enough, you're going to suffer from this, etc. The importance of sending what we talked about is not to be overlooked. Did you send that? You did. Okay. Great. Good, good, good. Excellent. So that is telling then. Did he answer whatever you sent then? Oh, you did not. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You see, the fear, what you fear, you create. And that's why I was highly encouraging you to send it, to overcome that fear and step into something. Not correct. I did not. You did not send something a few days before. Is that right? Because you say not correct. I see a couple of I did nots, but then you say not correct. If you did, and you send something, and then you did not receive something on Valentine's Day, then we have a very different animal to deal with. But if you did, correct. And that, I'm extremely disappointed in him for that. Sorry, it was a typo. No problem. Yeah, very disappointed in him for that. And now, yep, a bit of a different tact. I have not sent. Okay, I'm confused. Now you say I've not sent anything yet. Just answer yes or no. I sent him something like you and I discussed a few days before Valentine's Day last week. Yes or no? I'm just going to wait so I don't want to get you any more confused. Okay. This is what I mean. What you fear, you create. There was a fear in you you did not want to give. You did not, it was I want him to prove to me, I don't want to fall into what was. And unfortunately, you're creating what was. You're staying with the same and not moving towards this. We went kind of deep into it and why it was needed and what lighthearted thing was needed so that he would feel safe to reach out to you on Valentine's Day. Now, this doesn't mean that all is lost. Not at all. But you created it. And if you know that, great, because it's in your control. It doesn't mean that he won't again, but you've created that for a while he's not, because it's this is going to sound odd, Opal, but it's putting the pressure back on him, believe it or not. That we will talk more about. Why I say it's the because you might think, well, what is the difference then with making a man wonder? I was trying to make him wonder by not going towards him, not moving towards him. In your case, with the situation as it is, it lost steam. It was more of the same. All you need to do now, okay? Because again, it's not going to be that big of a deal, but we have to kind of start from scratch. He will be contacting you at some point, and it's at that point where what you say is, and you have to have it ready, what you say is going to be important. There was an inherent message he was sending you. I think he absolutely did not know the right thing to do. And you can get this back on track, but it just took a few steps back, if that makes any sense. Hi, Gretchen. Not sure if I can ask a general question. What if a man gifts have decreased in value over time? X, roses in 1 year, a candy bar in year 2. What do you think it means? Opal, we have to talk about it in terms of you being, you needed to be, but the waiting, and it needed to be, the timing on it that's what was important to have sent it. Is a learning curve. Absolutely. Yeah. Because he was questioning everything and then feeling like, well, you're just letting it go and he will as well. So that's simply why you didn't get anything on Valentine's Day. I'm still kind of dismayed why he did not, because it wouldn't have hurt him to do so. But he is, again, highly conflicted, and it doesn't have anything to do with you personally. It's feeling the pressure that you are in a certain category, towards Madonna category and real relationship material. And he's conflicted about that, not you personally, if that makes sense. It doesn't, but this is what you need to get out of. I was not expecting V-Day as he didn't the first time around. We have to get you into the mindset. You need to forget all that was past. You need to erase it and start fresh. Yep. Opal says, I was crushed the first time. Yep. But so you can put in your mind, you're starting fresh, and it's going to work. I wonder if you got something from the other man, Opal, and then I'm going to go to Trista's question. Did you get something from, I can't remember his name. Yes, amnesia. So if a man's gifts have decreased in value over time, roses in 1 year, a candy bar in year 2, again, it depends. If you, it says your ex, and I'm wondering if this ex is someone that you would like back. It's again, without talking about it, it's an example. Well, it could mean something, but it could not mean anything at all. It's always context of the relationship and the man's love language. I mean, some men, no matter what, their love language isn't going to be gifts. And they also don't want to make a big deal necessarily of that particular day, whereby they will be doing other things all year long. So if he's an acts of service guy, that's his love language, and he does a lot of things for you. The first year, you may have gotten roses because it was the first year and everything's in bloom. But as he feels comfortable and he is doing things all throughout the year for you, and then it's just something sweet and thoughtful, you go out, but he doesn't give you a big gift. There's so many different factors. So it's hard to make a general thing of that. Totally random. My hubby occasionally comments a woman is pretty in a movie and it hurts my feelings. I know it's dumb. What's normal for men? Here's how you can step in and not allow for it to hurt your feelings. You can agree when you do. Yeah, she really is, isn't she? See his reaction. He is feeling comfortable with you and safe with you to say that. And if you agree, he will feel he may want to see your reaction to it, Gretchen. And if you do the opposite and you just agree with him, I would like you to see what you get. Also, you then also need to do the same thing when you see someone handsome and see what you get. Just for your own edification and see his response. He may feel so close to you, which many husbands do. You, as the woman in his life, are his best friend and confidant. Make no mistake, he's not yours. You have a best friend and confidant. That is another woman. But you, as the woman in his life, are his best friend and confidant. He may be the type of man who just makes those kinds of comments. He may not be thinking at all. I don't know. You can also have another tact, and that can be what I call sexy mother, which is, oh, that kind of hurts my feelings when I hear you say somebody else is pretty. You hear how I did it? That can help you a lot. He may not in any way be meaning it. Because if he said, like, oh my gosh, you're the prettiest woman there is, or you're the only one I have eyes for, it's just commenting that she is. You see, shying away from it, I don't believe will help you. It doesn't, for some men, it's normal. For others, they'll just be quiet. It just depends. But it's you being hurt by it. Because there will always be women that are younger, prettier, whatever. That isn't what is going to keep him interested in you. Studies show the longer people are involved, the less of a chance they are to break up. Now, of course, we see 30-year marriages breaking up. But I'm just saying statistically that's the case because of the bonding that is involved. But you need to step in towards that rather than run away from it, or same thing as I was saying to Opal, what you fear you create. It's just a statement on his part. You are making it hurt. Either join him in it. Yeah, she really is, isn't she? Or sexy mother way, which is, that kind of hurts my feelings when I hear you say that. See what he does with that. Or try the tact of saying it. And if he saying it about a man, and if he agrees, you can see whereby it's simply that, oh, you two are sharing that kind of information, if that helps. He also says good looking guys are great looking. Yes, there you go. There you go. This is your programming, your fear of not being good enough, maybe not being good looking enough, something that you are telling yourself. You just answered your own question. He also says good looking guys are great looking. He is the kind of man who makes remarks on that. Yep, that's it. He did in the beginning. Now occasionally he does in a non-sexual way. Yeah. I usually just smile and agree and it passes by. Do I benefit from saying I don't like it in a sexy mother way? If it brings you closer, and he's the kind of guy who would say, oh, honey, I don't mean anything by that. I'm just commenting like I do with that's a beautiful car. While yes, it's your programming that's fostering it, and you must change this. If you start to be more vulnerable about it, you can get closer. I think this has been my issue. He uses me as his best friend, tells me about his past and the loss of his dad. I like that he talks to me, but I've been through things also, and I want to talk about it. Okay. It's not going to be the same. Because while you can talk about it, you're not going to get that much in return. It's not a man's natural stance. He will either want to solve it for you, or you're not necessarily going to get closer to him through it. That's what you have other women in your life for. It's why he comes to you, because you're a woman. Like if you're going to go to talk to somebody about your broken down car, it's going to be a man, not a woman. Context. Opal, if I hear from him tomorrow, is there any direction I should take? How he is, he will give a short answer like whatever. If he texts you tomorrow, I would not answer it tomorrow, and we'll talk on Tuesday about it. Make him wonder. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, you got to make him wonder. Because of this, him not doing anything for the Valentine's Day. But I just want you to stay on the path that it's an approach and a tactic, and you're going to send a really wonderful text when we craft it. And then you're going to start a whole new way of being. And stepping in a little bit more, I think he needs that. And like you said, if he had the kids this weekend, I'm going to be doing, right, good path. I'm going to be doing, I don't understand. I'm well, so this isn't really a question to use for my 20% free pass for a question. No. New rainbow. Okay, good. Yes, the beauty of men is that we can always start where we are and go from there. Women tend to hold on to stuff. Men tend to let it go and move on from something emotional. That's one great thing about men. And if we can embody that too, we help ourselves with them a lot. Thank you on the gift giving answer in context, because my mind would have thought he was losing interest. Yeah, it doesn't mean it doesn't mean anything. It's about the context. It could, but if he's really comfortable, he feels you're cool, he is doing things. I always say, for example, women may put, we put a lot of stock into things like birthdays and other occasions stuff. Men generally do not. They don't even want, I don't want anything for my birthday. Don't make a big fuss over this. I don't want to, and that's how they are. And we tend to, if we're not gift givers, or we tend not to care to get them. You see? So the most important thing is for you to look at the overall. Is he giving to another? It's more other times. It's more important. Like if he comes home randomly with a gift or flowers or something, that means more than this set day that he's supposed to give something. Yes, we do put a lot of stock in birthdays and holidays, and my experience with men is they don't care about them. Yeah, not to the degree we do. They just don't. They care more about things whereby it is about, like in my book, the 3 C's of men: challenge, competition, conquering. They're going to care more about, the Super Bowl or the finals or whatever it is than their own birthday or holiday or something like that. Because this is their conceptualization of, I didn't have to do anything or achieve anything in order to have this birthday. It just happens. So it's not about their own achievement. So we have to kind of read between the lines, if that makes sense, about who the man is in his temperament, what his love language is, what he does all the rest of the time, the full context, not just one day. Not just one day. So I hope that helps with some of the, debriefing. I know that there's just stuff that I go pretty deep when I work with someone to find out, like, because it's the smallest of details that a woman might overlook that will show, oh, he's all in. It's just reading it from a subjective viewpoint and not objective that can hurt you. So, yes, Jameer, I would encourage you to reach out to him and say that you would love to get together. Outside of the hikes, and that can help. How can we reset after being a little clingy and emotional? You start doing it. You don't say anything about it. You start being it. Actions, actions, actions. Women relate via verbalization. Men relate via action. So just start doing, and you will see the result. I haven't reached out in a few days, and I have been focusing on myself, but my birthday is in a few days, so I know he will be texting me. Great. Great. If you have been the one to always be reaching out, there's an issue. You need to stop that. It needs to be only 80-20 at most. He does 80% of it to your 20. So make sure that you don't. Clingy and emotional, if it's vulnerable and not too needy, pulling on him, asking for attention, demanding of time, all of it is not necessarily going to be the worst thing. Your softness, feminine ways will endear him to you. It's to the degree, and if it's nonstop. Men tend to get satiated, overwhelmed emotionally in a way that women don't. So it needs to be thwarted. If it's in small spurts, it's kind of like it can be cleansed from him. But if it's ongoing, we have trouble. Opal, I tell all my friends, that's very sweet. I'm going to put that one up. Tell all my friends about how wonderful you are. Are you interested in podcast guests who are married but need guidance? Absolutely. I work with married women. I have married, engaged women that I work with, and absolutely would love that. So yes, please do. I've noticed in multiple relationships I've been in, the men start off strong, pursuing, giving gifts, setting up dates, and then after a few months, years, definitely pull back on those things. Well, yes, they're no different than we are. We don't feel the same butterflies and all after a few years. That's normative. It's like Dr. Terban talks about. The best relationships we could categorize with one word that is not at all sexy, and that could be deemed boring. It's because good, solid, committed relationships lack drama and chaos and emotionality in a way that we think of it. So you want to think of it like that you need to understand that things change over time and they deepen. And you want to tell yourself, we're getting closer and being deeper. It's not, he's not going to pursue in the same way. It morphs, it changes. I hope that helps. You're so welcome, Opal. I had one man told me it's too much work and I can't keep up. Yes, that is what I'm talking about when I say they get overwhelmed and they have much less bandwidth for emotional stuff than we do. We have enormous amounts of bandwidth. Women can handle enormous amounts of stuff that men really can't. And if they're honest, they would tell you that. They want to help with tangible, functional things that can be solved. Emotional stuff is not their thing, generally speaking. Are there any men that yes, it is for them? Sure, but they're the outliers. They're not the norm. When I say anything, you could add it after I say it about men or women on average, on whole. You see? So, yes, everybody pulls back that little bit. You could never keep up the kind of stuff that happens in the beginning. Doesn't work like that. And yes, if a man is telling you it's too much work and I can't keep up, that means he does not feel safe from your emotional stuff that he doesn't have the bandwidth for. You have to handle that mostly away from him. Again, if it's in small spurts and he can kind of cleanse it and you move on and it's rare, you're going to be fine. But if it's constant, because your programming is such that you have a need to know at all times, are you wanted? Does he desire you? Does he want to be with you as much as you him? Etc. You got to fill yourself with that. That's part of the work that I do, because you have to fill yourself with it so that you are it on the outside, and that makes him feel safe. And with my ex that I still love, I just maintain no contact. Yet, Jamera, you know that. You see, I know you love him. He has a love for you too. He's not where you are. He's showing you that it can't happen. If you at any point want what you had with him, you can have it. At any time. If you want more, potentially ever, this is what you do. And this is your best time in life to do it, to see if you can have something more with someone who can treat you very well. Again, for you, with the programming, when you get the attention, the consistency, it won't really feel like love because it's not your program language. You have to feed yourself with the fact that you are worthy, you're honored, keep up the daily affirmations, the sleep meditations, etc. Of course, you maintain no contact. You need to start and not break it. We talked last time about the inconsistencies and the breaking no contact. He doesn't believe you. He can't trust that you mean what you say what you mean, and you do what you say, you see? And until he can, through absolute no contact, it won't work. If that makes sense, probably from what you know that I know, it will. At this point, should I allow my ex to still see me on social media? I haven't posted anything in about a month. I'm pretty sure you're going to say it doesn't matter. You could use, again, we always want to use something that the man will connote, like Valentine's Day. You've tried to maintain contact and a friendship of sorts. It doesn't work if you ever want the man back. There is nothing more deadly than that if you want him back in any meaningful way. So just immediately stop it. Take him off social media. Commit to it wholeheartedly. He will come back and after you in a big way, and you must keep it up until he's had some access to you is deadly if you want him back. Some access satiates his wonder that he could ever have you again. Understand that foundational thing. If you give him any indication that he can ever have you again, you thwart his continued growth. I love that. That's a good one. Yay. Yes. Yes. So I'm stopping my foolish. The good thing is we've never had sex. That's an interesting thing. TNC. Okay. That's very interesting. I hope everyone here will consider coming on and talking to me on the podcast if you haven't, because TNC, I don't know where you are in this relationship, but you say, I'm stopping my foolishness, but we've never had sex. So is that because of religious reasons? You're afraid? What is it? So let's see if she answers there. Lots of good questions. I'm really glad you're all here. I don't know who said it. They said, we don't typically need more information. We just need more reminding. I think it's so true. It's reinforcing what we already know, not necessarily needing new information. And then resetting things. If you've gone off track, it's kind of like, and people do this in business all the time. They have like a 3-month plan. Okay, let me do advertising on X or on Facebook, or I will do radio ads. If you do all three, and if you're lacking where the leads are coming from, say, if you're doing business, how are you going to know what works? You're throwing it all out there and you don't know what works. So better to chunk it down to one thing, try it for a certain amount of time, and see where you get. With men, this is very, very important. And remember, their brains are much more black and white, on or off, stop or go, yes or no, right or left. That's it. So you are either seeing each other and you are, for lack of a better word, boyfriend, girlfriend, partnered, sex partners. In other words, whatever you've set up, you're either that or you're not. So if you are accepting X, meaning a situationship, friends with benefits, whatever it is, that's what you are until you're not. And then when you're not, he can't get any of the goodies he had in that. Sex, contact with you, access to you, any of the good stuff. That's it. Black and white, on or off, stop or go. That's what the male mind knows. This is what sports is. And this is what men do. So when we do that, we pull up on their most male nature and they're wanting to win, challenge, competition, conquering. And you will do yourself an enormous favor by doing that. We actually work at the same place, but he is in the warehouse. I'm in the office, and I know I shouldn't start something at work, but already has developed. We mostly talk on the phone or face to face. Things have been moving slow because it's too easy for him to see me, but I've stopped the majority of the interaction. So this is something whereby I hope you will also consider coming on the podcast so we can talk about it, because there's a lot of stuff here that I can help you navigate to make it easier in a work situation. There may be things that you are missing in his behavior that I can help you make sense of to see if there's real interest or it's just fun. But if you're not taking things to the next level, I can also help you craft that conversation so that, again, it's on or off, stop or go, yes or no, seeing each other and moving forward with it or not. And then that's going to entail many things, like maybe if this is important enough, one or the other of you gets another job. I don't know. But if you keep going like this and he just has the access and you are accepting less than what you want, not going to help. With the other guy, we left it on Friday that he wished me a happy V-Day, and I did in kind, and he hearted it. Should I leave it there for him to reach out again, or should I drop a text? With him, I'm again, you can do 80-20. Given the very different situation with the other man, he is showing you that he's willing to be the one to reach out to you. Let that happen. I don't think you need to do anything. You can. I don't think it's going to hurt. Again, 80-20 fashion. If it's something you know he'd like, sure. Yes, I purchased the online course, so I will schedule. Yes, schedule your One Love self-help one-time course call. That would be great. Then I can help you navigate that. That's really great. TNC874, wonderful, because it's those little details that are going to make all the difference for him, to make him feel safe in it. He's likely concerned, and there's a good chance here. Many people do meet at work. It's how you navigate it. He finds reasons to come to the office, yes, and that's fine. But if you keep showing him, I just accept that, and you don't kind of guide him to what's going to work for you, and that's a tough one because it has to be done in a really feminine way, you won't help him. And what's so interesting with men is that they can keep going with things the way they are for a really long time. It's an interesting thing. It's they're right on top of time. It's like right now. If right now I see you and I'm enjoying it, and for whatever it is, it's good. It's like pizza. It's there. I'll take a bite. Usually pretty darn good. Even if it's not so good, it suffices. We women, we have much more of a timeline and frame and desire. So we want to push things ahead and get things going faster because we have a timeline with many things and we don't want to waste our time if it's not going anywhere. Women's time is much more valuable than a man's time. It's what we have. And giving a man our time when it's not going to go anywhere is really doing ourselves a disservice. So, great. Schedule that. We'll be talking. Everyone else here that we talked, be on the podcast. Stay the course. You are all making headway. And if these lives are helpful to you and you can ask a question again, I'm sorry I can't answer things terribly specific because I need a lot more information. And I might be able to do lives coming up with, if there's not too much of a delay, I'm going to check it out, but where you can have a call-in number. And if you're okay with putting your voice, you can ask a question. And that might be an interesting thing to do, but we'll see how that plays out going forward. But that could work out in a really fun way. But if these are helpful to you, I ask that you put a like on it, that you share, that you subscribe, and please tell others to do so because it's a way to help me keep going, to continue to be here and help you. I'm under definite challenges due to changes in everything now in terms of social media and so forth. So it really does help me a lot. I want to grow the channel to help others have access, become more aware, have a forum so that thank you. Thanks, Jamera. Thank you so much. Thank you, Opal. Thank you all here today. I am grateful for you and appreciate. So until next time, thank you for, again, being here, subscribing, sharing, hit that like button and the alert bell, and I'll be here tomorrow night. Any other question or just join us, please do that. We deeply appreciate your gift to us is life-changing. Oh, so touching, Opal. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you, and you guys have my heart. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Have a good night.